Well, live and direct, I really like this feature with YouTube. I really hate editing. So, what I'm working on today, I think last time I went live with the Spark. Today I'm going live, and this is a 2019 Sea-Doo uh, RXT 230. And the issue with this ski is it runs like crap. So the first thing I did was check the fuel. I found water in the fuel. If you want to check the fuel, you'll need to get a sample. You can siphon it through uh, I guess through the filler hose where you put the gas in at. So you can use a siphon, send the hose down there, pull out gas, or you can tap right into the fuel pump where it meets the fuel rail here by the dipstick. So you can catch it at the hose there. You're gonna want to let the fuel sit for about 2 or 3 hours to let it settle, and then you can take a look. If you see bubbles inside at the bottom of the fuel, so you have to put it in glass or plastic, something that's see-through. And if you notice little bubbles, you gotta let it sit. But if you notice bubbles at the bottom or some kind of separation, that's water, and that's gonna affect um, your performance. This particular ski was running about 68 and completely cut off. Get it to the shop, check the gas. I find water in it. I just filled it up with 93. I put different uh, products in there to get the water out, and it actually worked very well. Ski ran fine for about 3 hours, and then boom, the same thing all over again. So, knowing that the fuel is clean, what I'm going to do here, I have it hooked up as you can see, or maybe not, but I have it hooked up to the sensor there. Uh, Not the sensor, but to the computer. So, I'm going to perform a simple spark plug test. So, I'll need to take the spark plugs out. As you can see here, I'll go ahead and put them back in the ignition module. We'll try this one here, see what we got. Again, leave them hooked up to the ignition module. Then what I'll do is come with a grounding wire. Uh, this should be good enough. I'm just hooking it to the lift hooks or engine hoist hooks. This one here, I'll go to the oil. They can go to the same spot. It doesn't matter. A lot of times, if you want to kind of foolproof the event, you'll go to the same spots in different spots if you're not getting the right results or in a controlled situation. So here I have the option to fire up the plugs. The first plug I'm going to fire up is the rear plug. That will be a coil or cylinder. I'm sorry, coil or cylinder one. So we'll go ahead and fire it. And as you can see, there's no spark and you don't hear anything either. So we'll go ahead and try to fire up coil 2, which is the second cylinder. And again, nothing there. We'll try again. Nothing. They should be firing. You should hear some noises and maybe even see some coloring on the screen there. But right now we're not getting anything. So you can check to make sure you have good ground. So we'll change our ground again. Um, there we're on a, so we'll try the rear, activate, nothing. So here, from here you could change up your spark plugs between each other. So I got two no fire, so I could say, oh, something might be wrong with that. Or you can just grab a new spark plug and drop it in. And that's what I'm going to do here. It's not a new plug, but it is a plug that I know that works. So beware, even a new plug can be bad. A lot of times you might not think plugs go bad, or maybe you'll say, "Oh, it's overkill to change your plugs every year," but not really. The plugs do go bad more often than one might think. And then there you can hear the noise and see a spark. At least I can. Yeah, you can see the spark on the video. So if you are looking here, you'll see this plug spark. Obviously not going to fire it up with my hand next to it, but if you take a close look here, you'll see we have a spark. Again, I'll try cylinder 1. We're not getting anything, so I'll go ahead and pull that plug out as well. Set that there. You do have to be very careful when handling these plugs, otherwise you can damage them. So we're going to be looking for some light source and noise coming from that plug. Let's see if I can put it in a position that'll be most helpful to the viewers. And let's go ahead and fire up cylinder 1. And there you have it. We have the noise. Let's see. We'll go dark for a moment. So that is how I perform tests here at Sea-Doo Repair and Maintenance down in Houston. Luckily, this ski will be back on the water within a day, and fortunately, but unfortunately, the issue is the spark plugs have gone bad. Likely the water from the fuel shortened or ended the life of those plugs. Obviously, we know that Sea-Doos have an issue with carbon seals when they're not maintained properly or operated properly. And sometimes that can also come from the dealership if it's not installed correctly, meaning that the engine alignment is off or other reasons. So it's not all on the actual owner and how they maintain it. They do come from the dealership with issues here and there. So if you end up sinking your ski, I would highly recommend that you just total it out, because the water will damage the spark plugs, which in most cases you wouldn't think it would, but it also damages all of the electronics from the rectifier to the computer, the wiring harness, every single sensor, supercharger. I mean, a lot of that stuff, by the time you get done replacing it, you can just buy a whole new ski. So in this case, water in the gas was detrimental to the spark plugs. We'll go ahead and put new spark plugs on there. We'll start it up and see how it goes. And actually, I'm going to just leave those plugs on there, and we'll just do this live, right? Why stop the fun? Might be as good as a girlfriend right there. We'll go ahead and get those two in there. And then we are going to need one more. So this one. We'll just replace that anyway. I wish there was a pause button on here. Man, that sucks. I always like to tighten them down by hand first. Alrighty. We have 3 fresh plugs in here. A little tack down will do it, and I'll go ahead and get everything what I'm gonna do when I start it up is just, because I know how rough it was running, I'll be able to tell right away if it's more smooth or not. So that's the goal for me at this point. So the run won't be long, but it'll be long enough for me to make my assessment. It's a little challenging not doing the editing. Because you got to remember where you set your tools at in the middle of the job and all of that. But I mean, I'll see what the feedback is in the comments and kind of get a feel for it. See if I should just go back to, because I don't think my editing was that great anyway. Besides saving a little bit of time, it's not like I had crazy fades and all that cool stuff. So we have the new plugs in. We have the modules, ignition modules tightened down. We can go ahead and remove anything that is foreign to the engine. I'll go ahead and I'm done with my diagnosis, so I don't need that equipment anymore. Take a quick look around the ski to see if I forgot anything. I think we're good here. I don't feel like fooling around with that. The camera looks to be secure. Let's see what we got. We got a dead battery. So unfortunately, we won't be able to see this come to life live. But again, Sea-Doos, after a couple years, you can count on a dead battery. But I'll make a second video. I'll charge this for a little bit. We'll go ahead, we'll do a second video of it actually firing up. Kind of leave everything in place as it is so it's easy to track between the two.